Good afternoon and welcome back. Here we are again with you. I hope all of you had a good Christmas and enjoyed the holiday. And even if you ate too much, it's only once a year. So semolina no is allowed. So no big deal. I hope you enjoyed everything, the food and the presents and everything. I hope somebody enjoyed Christmas. Because as far as I'm concerned, it was another rerun of this year, of all the events of this year. Nothing different, same headaches. Okay, anyway, we are gonna just for the record, but there is nothing I can do. Everybody is on the attack, so anyway, we were planning today to go do a year-end review of all the events of this year. None of them are good. But just review the year, not just for us, Les Meeting, but for all others organizations that have been harassed by the government, all the other cases, all the other events are directly or indirectly related to medicine. We were going to do that, but all the plans, and we might be able to do that toward the end of the second hour, maybe the last section of the second hour. I don't know. But as usual, you make plans and then things happen and you have to rearrange your plans. And apparently something has happened. There is this thing on the web. This big thing going on in different shows, and this doctor talking with the claim that she was Adam Lanza, doctor and psychiatrist, and it goes on a tangent. So we never heard of her. We had no idea who she was, but somebody we know knows a lot about her. So there we go again. We have again our very good friend and frequent a guest of this show. And the great lady, Barbara Hartwell. Hello? Barbara, are you there?
Thank you, Dr. Carpenter. Yeah, I'm snowed in here, and the snow is still piling up. It's well over 6 feet high here in the drifts where the plow has pushed them aside there.
That's the normal. That's the only memory I have of the Northeast.
And how long have you been stuck in the house?
Days.
Yeah.
Days. 3 days now.
Well, I have been stuck in the house more than that.
You know what? If I had any money, I'd call for a plow. That's what I normally would do, but I'm flat broke. So I'm here till I can get a rescue from somebody, hopefully.
Maybe the weather. Get rescued by the weather.
No, the snow's not going to go away, though.
It's not going to.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Really.
I lived in Kingston, New York, working for IBM for a couple of years. Man, that place. Oh.
I know that area very well, Dr. Carpenter.
God.
Very well, because I lived in Woodstock. It's right next door to
Yeah, it's very close to Woodstock. You
close.
live with the hippies?
No. Yeah. I didn't live with any hippies, but there are plenty of them in the town there.
That's sure. In Woodstock, are you kidding? Yeah.
Go to Village Green, right? They have this Village Green. I'm sure you know it. And you drive through there or walk through there, and the weirdest characters I've ever seen.
I know what it was, and I went by, but I never stopped to look. But that was where Wolfman Jack was from.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
So, you know, that big... And you know what? There was, when I lived there and I was working at IBM, there was a cartoon that was making the round. They were showing people with three-piece suit and ties, okay? It looked like a board meeting at IBM. And the subtitle of that was Woodstock Reunion.
Yeah, right.
Because a lot of Woodstockers ended up working for IBM.
Yeah, but it's mostly old hippies. You know, it was formed as an artist colony. I'm sure you know that.
Yeah.
Way back.
And then it just, But and every city has some kind of, near a city, they have some kind of artist section. Yeah. They all have it. So that area had it too. But anyway, and it was terrible how you get snowbound. It was awful getting to work. Sometimes you couldn't just get to work. You couldn't because there was so much snow.
Well, where I lived, it was in the mountains. And to get if it snowed, it was right at the base of the mountain.
Yeah, and they have those houses with those long peach roofs. So, the snow accumulates one place. Yeah. Which they're cute to look at, but honestly, they have very little room inside.
Well, it's nice to talk about something that's kind of sentimental to me because I love that area. It's a beautiful, the Catskill Mountains are beautiful.
Yeah, they are. I used to go skiing. They had different places, one for the kids where they were learning, and then I can't remember the name now, it's an Italian name, and then the other one, and Hunter Mountain was for the super expert, Yeah. And the drive up there from where IBM plant was, driving up there, man, some section of the road up in the mountain didn't even have the protection, The
guardrails, that's right.
Yeah, I didn't even have those. So it was you and the cliff.
a steep drop.
I know. You have to be really careful driving there. It was pretty wild. But it was something. Personally, I prefer warm weather and near water, preferably, but warm weather. I love California. Not the people, but California is a great, wow. The landscape, it's amazing. The weather is amazing. So I love that, but just people don't want to work. It's terrible living there.
Don't want to work.
No, all they want to be is beachcomber. Do you know that if you something break in your house, you really have a hard time finding somebody to fix it. They come for one day and then that's it. They're gone for God knows how long because they're on the beach. They work one day and then on the beach. No, you don't want to leave it there. But anyway, it's a great place, though. The weather is fantastic. I love it. And nobody has lawns. They don't like grass. They don't grow grass. And they don't want to cut the lawns. So what they have is some houses have something like it's just like an evergreen, but it's just a tall type of growth, and you don't have to cut it or anything. It goes on all year round. It's like a mini cactus, really tall, really small things, and that's the only grass they went. I had a neighbor that was saying, I have to cut the grass, it's such a headache, and he had a teeny strip that could have been 2 feet by 5, okay, and was griping about cutting that grass. So it's weird. The world is crazy. And on the subject of crazy world.
Oh, that's a hell of a segue. You just described every show on the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Well, no, I was just talking about things that are happening out
News
there.
And views beyond the mainstream. Sorry.
Yeah, but yeah. Hello. We want to say hello to and thank you.
Well, right. I'm totally one segment behind your.
Yeah, go ahead.
Welcome, everybody, to the Medical Conspiracy, and everybody listening on Micro 1650 in Tonawanda, New York. And, of course, everybody, like she said, on Spreaker. Spreaker has taken off. We're heading toward 3,000, I think.
Wow, that's great.
Well, not quite there, but that'll be the next big number.
Yeah, I wish those 3,000 will gang together and take action about what's going on so we can fix the messes. Do we have a break? Do I hear something?
It's about time. Maybe in another minute.
I hear something. Do you?
I tried to follow this schedule last time, and I got totally turned around.
Yeah, the schedule.
But I think we are due. I'm just not hearing anything.
Yeah, well, which doesn't mean anything anyway. That we don't hear anything.
Oh man.
Yeah, see?
Look at there. You try to be ready and you just mess it up. That's what it's all about.
Okay. Okay, we are back from the break, and this time we basically heard it. We were stopping to try, making an effort to hear it, but we heard it. Okay, so
making mistakes today.
No, I mean, at least we can hear something. Not a lot, but something. Somebody's phone. Okay. Is that your phone? Somebody's phone here?
Okay. I was just turning the sound ringer off.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Wow.
Oh, no, that's okay. I was just wondering what was going on. But before
I get an interruption here.
That's okay. Before the break, I was saying that we are gonna, some more madness happened this week, and we decided that we had to rearrange our schedule and present this madness that is going on all over the web. I don't know if it's really going viral, but it's gotten a lot more attention than it deserves, and it's really another example of misinformation, misinforming the public, misleading the public to basically control their opinion. That's what is going on. And
exactly, Dr. Carpenter, but I would call it disinformation, because misinformation implies that nobody really is trying to deceive. This is disinformation because it's purposeful effort at deception. It's a lie.
Yeah, the whole thing is a lie, but there is, like every time there are trolls or basher, whether it is the stock market or the medical or anything, they have to get the trust of the listeners. So this came from somebody that was a professional stock basher, and it was published in a letter that was spread out by a company that protects the interest of corporations that are publicly traded. So this is an actual person making the statement. The process is this. You get into this chat room or maybe YouTube video or something, and you discuss something that it's in the present general interest. Everybody knows about it, is interested, so you start discussing something that grabs their attention because it includes things they believe in.
Brzezinski.
Yeah. And that's a method of Mike Adams, by the way. That's
Brzezinski.
Yeah. Typical Mike Adams.
Sorry.
Yes. Okay. So, introduce information that the public already suspect is true and dwells on it and say, I have proofs, I have evidence, I have experience, whatever. And then after that, they hit you with their what they really plan to do. And this is happening, obviously, in this case, but all these truth advertising talk shows and all these groups that they claim we are in for the truth and information of the public, they're all pasting this stupid video of this woman that starts opening. She's a psychiatrist, and there you go. You know, I don't respect psychiatrists at all. But anyway, because psychiatry was introduced by the biggest sicko that ever existed. So, I mean, I don't have any respect for psychiatry. But let's go on from there. She's a psychiatrist, and she says, I am Adam Lanza, doctor. That's what she claimed. She claims she's Adam Lanza, doctor, and she knows what happened and what the truth is. And she posted this video, and as I said, this video was posted in other websites that claim to present the truth to the public.
Well, it's been out there for at least a couple of weeks now, okay?
Yeah.
Because
I rushed past it, but I haven't had a chance to watch the whole thing.
Oh, it's disgusting. I can tell you right now that from minute one, this is the
That's because you know about her already. Somebody that doesn't know about her, listen and say what she has to say, and she opens up.
Right, and I knew that I'd never heard her name before.
Her name is Rima, like the church in town. The Rima church, we have a big church.
Right, well, she spells it a little different.
But it's still Rima.
Rima, actually, Rhema, the church in Tulsa is R-H-E-M-A, and it's a Greek, I think. I don't know the word.
But the thing is, with this woman, it's okay. This is the type of person that I literally, I mean, I have a really hard time. I cannot bear to look at her. I cannot bear the sound of her voice. This is how evil the emanation.
You mean like Michelle?
Yes, exactly. Michelle Walden. Okay.
Sorry.
Yes.
Michelle
Sorry.
Walden.
They're both trolls.
I just had to just bring that up. I'm sorry.
They're both trolls, but
it's my perception. It's my spiritual discernment. I consider this woman a demon. Okay. Let's start out again with her announcement in the beginning of the video. I am Adam Lanza's doctor. Well, that's a lie. It's a bald-faced lie. Now, let's go, if you manage to make it through the video, okay?
which is not easy. At the beginning, it's okay, but after a while,
not easy. But now, let's take a look at this little disclaimer where she exposes herself as a liar. Exposes herself. I'm going to read this to you. It says, this video and essay were written in direct response to the brave woman who authored, quote, I am Adam Lanza's mother, unquote, about her experience with a similar child. Just as she is not literally Adam Lanza's mother, so I am not claiming to be the physician who treated Adam Lanza. Readers are invited to understand that as a child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist, I have treated many patients like Adam Lanza, but never met him before his tragic death. Well, you've just exposed yourself as a liar.
Well, she wanted to grab the public attention.
Exactly.
With something that is in everybody's mind. So she comes forward and say, I am Adam Lanza's doctor. And then she goes on saying that she talked to him, she talked to her brother and sister, which I don't think he had. I don't think he had any brother or sister. I don't know.
It was a pack of lies, Dr.
Right. I'm just saying, but if you pay attention, you might extract the fact that she's saying he's like many other kids, and many other kids out there are potential assassin like he was. Okay? They can become violent and kill a lot of people with senseless shooting. It's just like many others. So in that case, I've treated many others, so I am his doctor too.
Okay, now, Dr. Carpenter, I want to mention something here. This video is what I would call a psyop video. And
yeah.
When you have a psyop of this nature, there's always something at the beginning, and it's called the hook. The hook is she tells a lie. She makes a statement, I am Adam Lanza's doctor. That grabs your attention, as you said, and then people are riveted to, oh my God, this is Adam Lanza's doctor. And they start spreading this garbage around. It's posted all over the internet. And this liar has achieved her interest, which is to exploit what happened, exploit the massacre, and at the same time, deliver her controlled opposition disinformation.
But in my opinion, of course, I just think differently from the average individual. But in my opinion, anybody that stands up and say, I am Adam Lanza's doctor, to me, that is not getting any attention or is not getting any interest because, okay, so you're the one who fed him garbage.
Right.
Fed him actor.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't see how that could really...
It's all my fault.
Right.
Why, Dr. Carpenter? Because most people, unfortunately, have no discernment, number one. Number two, so many people out there are willing to jump on something before they even investigate. They don't know what they're talking about, so they spread this around, and then more.
Free speech guaranteed. You're listening to the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Somebody get me 100 doctors.
And we shoot them in space. So they disappear. Yeah, we're going to pollute space, but at least we get them out of here. Anyway, before, again, we did not hear the music that was announced in the break. So there you go. We have no idea where you weren't able to listen to us anymore. I don't know.
Okay. It might have been the craft work. I don't know. Something about that MP3. It just, I don't know.
Well, anyway,
it's not very loud.
This whole thing is
my fault.
Is a headache. Okay. Well, I guess we need to change that or something, because I need to listen to hear the music, so I know that there is a break coming, because the time is never correct. Anyway,
King Crimson with some clashing drums and cymbals.
So I don't know. Cymbals, I'm not too fond of those. Okay, they're boring. I think they make boring music. Personally, I never was that crazy about Ravi Shankar. I thought the music was boring. So,
oh man, I know,
okay,
but you have opinions.
I know, well, you have a real weird taste in music. So I look at music as entertainment, which it is, nothing else. But anyway, so let's go on.
All right.
I have no idea where we stop, where you stop hearing what we were saying. But we have established that this Adam Lanza doctor is not a doctor of that individual, is a psychiatrist, and she's saying this could happen to any kid that is in any kid could become Adam Lanza is in the medication that he was taking. Well, if he was diagnosed with what he was diagnosed with and given the medication he was taking. So that way she is Adam Lanza doctor because she treats that type of the disorder, mental disorder, and others. But
how can you disagree how can you disagree and say that, and you know that you do agree that the psychotropic drugs out there that are
right, and what I'm
going
saying,
into these kids are contributing.
And she realizes that all people realize that the majority, the silent majority is not stupid and it knows what's going on, and they know the guns are not the guilty ones. It's what humans do with it and what humans do with the kid's mind by messing them up with these drugs. So that is correct. And now she grabs the attention of the public. She grabs the attention of the public by saying something that everybody understands and suspects already. So somebody called her a whistleblower. She's not whistling any.
She's a liar, Dr. Carpenter. Okay?
Yeah, and she is not blowing any whistle.
No, she's not. No, she's not.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I also would like to get into her husband, Major General Albert Stubblebine. Okay?
Man, is it a Major General? Oh.
Okay.
And I have heard that name, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
You have to remember, these people are, what I call them mind rapers. Okay, they're involved in behavior modification, all kinds of mind control operations, and have been for many years. And I think one of the worst things that
microwave went off.
No, I don't have a microwave. God forbid.
That was the NSA outside.
That was my phone. Evidently, somebody left a message, but I turned it off, of course, the ringer. So, but anyway, have you heard of a book called Men Who Stare at Goats?
No.
I've heard of a movie called that.
The movie, yeah, they made a movie of it.
I didn't know there was a book too. I assumed.
And will not see. It is the most disgusting thing. The novel was based on some of the, quote, work and research of Albert Stubblebine. And guess what one of the experiments, so-called, was? And for me...
Staring at goats?
Oh, no. Staring at goats, yes. But
where did that come from?
I'll tell you where it came from.
It was a witch that turned people into goats, and so they were staring.
No, it's worse than that.
Staring at the Baphomet statue or something?
Psychic experiments, quote, in psychic warfare, okay, where they were attempting to stop the heart of an innocent animal, namely, in this case, a goat. So they are animal abusers. And by the way, this technology, so-called, these Psywar things, were developed for use not on animals, but on human beings. And I can tell you that I know a great deal about those Psywar things because I was not involved at any time with this stubble bind, but I was involved in things the government was doing along these lines. You know, the supernatural or the psychotronic stuff.
Okay, they're stopping the heart with what? Scaring them to death, or
energy? No, not scaring them. It's a form of directed. I could only call it a form of directed. You know what directed energy weaponry is? You know what that is?
DEWs, right?
Okay,
well, directed energy is a laser. Okay,
and that's also a laser. That's right. But in your case, you're using it to do good, to heal people. But
light is good. Yeah.
Yes. But in this case, all the weaponry, the anti-personnel weaponry, the directed energy weaponry that the government has developed, and they've had it for many, many years, is anti-personnel weaponry. It's meant to harm and kill and destroy and rape people's minds. It's called mind control. That's part of it. This is what Stubblebine and his wife have been involved in, including the behavior modification, and then you get something like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I'm sure you've heard of that. It's a manipulation. It's mind manipulation, and it's all based on controlling people's behavior and making them do what the perpetrator wants them to do. It is absolutely disgusting, and it's the basis of all the mind control programs, all along those lines.
Override the spirit of survival, the instinct of survival.
Yes,
basically.
And you know, the way I look at it. Okay, now I'm a Christian. Okay, but I'm not approaching this from a religious perspective, but I am approaching it from a spiritual perspective. Nobody has the right to invade my mind. Nobody has the right to hit me with any kind of weaponry or try to control my behavior. I answer to God Almighty. And that's the only person I answer to or ever will answer to. These people are demonic and satanic in that their purpose is to control New World Order control. They are controlled opposition, and that's why they come out.
It's actually slavery, mental slavery.
Slavery. That's exactly right. Okay, but my point is, she and her husband, Rima Leibau, and her husband, Bert Stubblebine, are a pair of mind-raping demons. They ought to be arrested and tried and convicted.
Oh, come on. The people that would arrest them are just as guilty, so
yes, they are.
Happen.
Of course they are. Of course they are. Whole point.
You know, there is no law. We are in a lawless country now.
But I'm still looking for justice.
I know.
Whether I'm going to get it or not, my whole life is based on justice, getting justice. And you know what this idiot Stubblebine, he's a big speaker at all these conferences, and I'd seen one video of him. I've been fighting for 40 years, 50 years, all my life. I've been fighting for our freedom. No, you're not. You're a mind-raping demon who is attempting to steal people's mental freedom. That's who he is.
Yeah, that's really.
So they'll take away the drugs, okay, and they'll replace it with mind raping, okay? Mind raping, mind control. We don't need drugs. We can do it this way. We can get into people's minds with.
Because you know why they don't need drugs? Because now they realize that you really are not controlling the person. The person is going to have erratic behavior, but you cannot control that one. You don't know what they're going to do. See?
Well, that's true. That's true.
With the drugs, they're not achieving what they want. They want to get to the point that the person does exactly what they want him to do. And with the drugs, there is too much uncertainty. That's why they want to do something else. But even that, see, what they don't understand is basic individuality. Oh,
here's the music.
Yeah, we can hear it. Great. Wow. Okay, we're back from the break, and I want to, before I get into what I want to do is discuss more about that YouTube video of Livo, whatever you pronounce that name. How do you pronounce it?
I think it's Leibau. I don't know.
I thought she said Livo, but I don't know. Okay, I thought she said her name, and I think that's what she was saying. No, about okay. I don't know. But anyway, before I want to discuss a few things. How what she says ties in, and the attention she gets ties in what comes after. So I will discuss that later. Another thing I want to dwell a little bit more on, and I want to ask you some question, is the work that she and her husband were doing. And you were saying mind control. My question is, for what purpose? Controlling the behavior of spies, controlling the mind of ordinary people so they can get him to do things they wouldn't ordinarily do, so there is no...
Yeah? All of Dr. Carpenter. You see, remember, these people are liars. And her husband is a long-term, lifelong, pretty much, government employee, okay? So yeah. he was in the, he's retired.
Well, Major General, that he has had a long career and a protected career too, because not that many people get to that level.
Yes, but you see, what they do is they mask it. What they're really doing, I'll repeat it over, they are raping people's minds. They're trying to control people's minds with all kinds of methodology. And this ties into the MKUltra program that we were talking about last week. It's very similar type of things. They were also involved. Have you heard of Psytech?
No.
Okay, well, Psytech, Stubblebine was involved in that. And that was some of the people from the remote viewing program, okay? And some of the experiments at Stanford University. And it's all tied in together. It's been going on for many, many years. Also, by the way, is this Michael Aquino. You know who he is, right?
Oh, yeah. Now I know who he is. Temple of Set.
Temple of Set, who descended. That whole organization came straight down from Aleister Crowley through Anton LaVey. Remember Ted Gunderson, who was married to Ding Ding?
No, I'm not going to do it.
Oh, don't do it.
No,
anyway,
Dr. C said she didn't want to hear it anymore.
No. Oh, God.
Okay, but Ted Gunderson was married to the ex-wife of Anton LaVey. So it's Crowley, the most evil man on earth, as he's called, Crowley, down to Anton LaVey, down to the Temple of Set with Michael Aquino. These are the kind of Marvy folks that Stubblebine and his wife are involved with. And it's all about control, and they use psychotronic weaponry. They're involved with the...
Okay, but the idea is what? To use it for spies, or it is ordinary people to make it... Everyone.
Let me say it again. Last week we were talking about the MKUltra program, and I think I told you that the MKUltra program was officially formed. The purpose was to, quote, create the perfect spy. They wanted to get people under their control, like a Manchurian candidate,
right,
so that person could follow orders, and supposedly they're not going to make mistakes. They're not going to break under hostile interrogation, and on it goes. Of course, it didn't work. Didn't work at all.
It's not going to.
And it's not going to. Okay, but all it did was create a weapon of mass destruction that destroyed people's lives. That's all it did. And so these folks are all in the same cabal. They're all connected to each other. And so when you look at remote viewing, remote viewing was supposedly the state of the art of psychic, spies. Nonsense. Okay, it's a kindergarten class compared to what is actually out there. And I know this because I personally was involved in some of these projects, these black projects. Okay, so you get all these people. Then they throw the crumb to the public. Remote viewing. Here it is, folks. Here it is, the state of the art. No, it's not. Okay, now you've got people like Ingo Swann. You've heard of him, right?
No.
So, Ingo Swann was an artist. He was an artist I believe he was Danish. I may be or Dutch. I can't remember. But anyway, he was heavily involved in this this whole mind control, remote viewing type thing. Okay, so this is the viper's nest from which Rima Leibau and her husband Stubblebine came out. Okay, and also they're involved in UFO research and all this technology. Again, the directed energy technology and weaponry. So this is all hell-bent, and I mean that literally, hell-bent on controlling people's minds. So to answer your question, Dr. Carpenter, yes, it was for the purpose of military applications and spies and, CIA and NSA and all that stuff. And eventually they have designed it so it trickle down so that everybody will fall under the spell of this control.
Oh, good luck.
And that's exactly the purpose of this side video. I am Adam Lanza's doctor. No, you're not. You are a liar.
Yeah. But as you see, the reason why I was asking is, I don't know if you ever saw, I discussed this before, a movie with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp always made very strange movies, but this one has too much truth in it, and it was called The Nick of Time. Okay? And basically is to cover up the evil doing in politics, they get this person and coerce him into doing something he doesn't want to do, so the killing will never be discovered where it came from. See? The origin and the cause. It's in politics, you're not doing what the controller, the puppet master wants you to do, so you're toast, you're going to get killed, but you can't get killed under normal circumstances, so you have to have a cover, and they use somebody that is really no connection and just coerce him into doing it. Now, that is a pretty difficult thing to do, so they figure if they can control him and control their mind, hypnotize them to do something they wouldn't otherwise do, that person will not have any obvious connection to the person that is killing. So.
Sure, and it's called plausible deniability, and they do it all the time. They do it in every instance. They create so-called a car accident, okay? It's not an accident. It's a ranged crash. I've had it happen to me.
Yeah, that might have been what happened to me.
To you.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's right. So it's
turned
all
it over.
Deniability. So they think,
and then 35 mile per hour. Yeah. 35 mile per hour speed limit. Oh, no, it was not speeding. Yeah, right.
I just keep thinking, it turned the van over on its side. It couldn't have been just a little,
No, that guy was going way over the speed limit. And I'm telling you, when it's on my van, it's that to behave speeding up, because that's what it looked like.
It was an assault, Dr. Carpenter. It was an engineered assault against.
And they didn't expect me to survive, or at least expected me to ending up in the hospital. That would have meant me in the hospital. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
I'm a first
exactly what
foremost morphine victim, right?
That's right.
They don't even have to ask your permission to give you morphine. So
every time I had gotten into some situation where they assaulted me, whether it was with a weapon or a car crash or whatever they did, you know what? I told anybody that was there, including my son, do not take me to the hospital because I will never come out. Do not take me to the hospital. Yeah. And I made them listen. Doesn't matter how bad it was. Doesn't matter how many days I was laid up with injuries or illness because of what they did. I would not let them take me to the hospital.
Yeah, because you know what happened.
Because I know what they would have in mind.
That's a legal way of killing you.
Exactly.
And you know what? I know it happened to a patient of mine. It was a very important patient because this was a melanoma patient, and the success story came at a time when they were pushing to put into a market Yarvoy, which is the generic name is ipilimumab. Okay, but it goes
another Mumab.
Yeah, but
a lot of Mumabs out there.
Yeah, I know, but this one, and this is to extend the life of advanced cases of melanoma. And this guy had nothing. He was fine. His melanoma was gone. So he was targeted. And I regret having him as guest on my show. He used only his first name, but his first name was unusual. And he discussed going to MD Anderson, so it was easy to trace. They killed him off because the accident was.
That's disgusting. That's absolutely disgusting, Dr. Parker.
I know, and I could not believe when it happened and how it happened. I knew what happened, but my mind could not accept the fact that they would murder somebody for that.
Oh, yeah. They have no scruples. They have no scruples. They have no respect for the sacredness of any life, whether it's an animal or a human being. They don't give a damn.
Not giving a damn for an animal, it's easier to understand, but for a human being, father with
don't
children,
touch that mouse.
No.
The medical conspiracy.
Well, it's horrible. The whole
we're getting near the end here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we're back for the second hour, and if you were listening, you know that we were discussing this particular case of the psychiatrist that stepped forward saying, I am Adam Lanz's doctor. And as I said, I thought that was strange that somebody would admit, so you're the one who gave him the drugs? And then she says she never used the drugs with her patient. She never used any drugs to handle the problems that the patient had. So she only treated children up to age 16. So you start wondering, okay, how does that fit into the whole story? And then you realize that she's just, figuratively speaking, she's saying, I am a doctor. I'm the doctor of many other kids just like him, and they all are potentially going to explode and cause harm to a lot of people. But the question is, who is she and why is she doing this? And of course...
Okay. Well, I think we've partially answered that, Dr. Carpenter, in the last segment of the show. But I should bring up here, okay, that remember, this Stubblebine, her husband, was heavily involved for many years in the military intelligence. He was involved in the mind-washing or brainwashing, trying to create the, quote, super soldiers. Now, you've probably heard about that stuff, right? It's along the same lines.
Yeah, not beyond Captain America.
Okay. Well, see, it's just like, think of this, creating the perfect spy under MK Ultra. Well, they also had programs that were used to create the so-called super soldiers, and they would induce multiple personality disorder, which is now changed to dissociative identities disorder. It's the same so-called label that they've put on. Now it says, I got a message on my Skype. It says, high sound coming from the speakers. Do I sound too loud?
Not to me.
Oh, not to me.
Okay. I don't know what that was about then. Okay, but...
Sabotage.
Yeah. Sabotage. Maybe it was sabotage. But in any case, that's what this guy Stubblebine was involved in. And he's like his wife. He's a liar. I saw an interview of him on the Jesse Ventura, the conspiracy theory show. And he was being questioned as to, well, what were you doing? And then Stubblebine was talking about the goat, stopping the heart of a goat. And then Ventura said something along the lines of, well, are you involved in some kind of mind control operations? And Stubblebine just kind of evaded the question. But of course he was. Of course he was. Oh. Not only that, but here, listen to this. This Project Grill Flame, which was a precursor of sorts to this remote viewing, program that the government was running. All right, now, in that program, we have a bunch of people called like Ed Dames, and they also began a corporation was called Psytech, and that was like a private remote viewing company. and they would, sell it to people. They would get students so they could learn, supposedly, remote viewing. Meanwhile, it's a mind control program. And also, they have a patent. These people, the Psytech Corporation, holds the patent. It's called, I think, the Smirnov patent for a psychotronic weapon. Okay? Psychotronic weapon. Here we go again. Okay, so where you're not having drugs used. Remember last week I talked about MK Ultra. They use psychotronic technology and weaponry, anti-personnel weaponry. That's what this is. It's weaponry. They will label it as something else. Okay. Oh, this is a wonderful technology that we can learn about the brain. No, you're using it to attack people and to rape their minds. You see?
Right.
That's what they're involved in. Remember you asked me, what is this woman involved in? That's what her husband's involved in. And she's in it too. They're all in this cabal. And we mentioned before Michael Aquino, the Satanist. These people are demons. There's no other word that I can use to describe them.
Okay, so the question comes to mind, and it's always been there. Why would she come out and play the game of wanting to inform the public and saying, oh, the drugs are responsible, which they are responsible for the action of these people, and all these mass murder cases have always been conducted with people on drugs. So why would she come up and state the obvious, of course, because a lot of people realize that, but she still supports the representing the medical side and saying, and this is...
Well, I have a quick answer to that, Dr. Carpenter. They run an organization called Natural Solutions. And just like Alex Jones, okay, they've got a lot to sell. They've got a lot to sell. So they're sending out all these email, barrages of email, and they've got all this stuff. Buy this, buy that. This is a must-see video. Buy this, buy that. That's one answer that you have right there. So they're making a profit. They're raking in the profit.
Well, they're
operating on trying to control people's minds for the New World Order agenda.
Well, I went through all of those emails and things that they are sending out, and that's basically the subject I am thinking about, but in a particular field. Okay. The video about, the drugs are responsible for creating all these problems and these kids that are deranged and go kill all. Okay, so she gets the trust of the public because she's telling something. And somebody goes out, actually comes out and say, oh, she's a whistleblower. Yeah, right.
No, she's a mountebank, Dr. Carlson.
All right, but somebody called her a
snake oil salesman is what she is.
Yeah, but... as I said, somebody really degraded the name whistleblower and actually pasted it on a troll. Okay?
Exactly, Dr. Carpenter. Look, you are an actual, genuine, real whistleblower. I am the same. We are real whistleblowers. We have come out of some kind of thing, some kind of organization from the government. And
we're a couple of minutes yet, I think.
Oh, okay, all right.
I can hear a noise in the background. Is not the break? Okay, all right. That's all right.
But you're right, Dr. Carpenter. These people try to slap the label whistleblower on these people, and they are anything but that.
They're not whistleblower at all. They're no. If anything, they're cowards. You have to have a certain level, a high level of courage to become a whistleblower. These are cowards serving the government interest.
They're in the government. They're in with the government. They're minions of the government. They're servants of the big government. They are not whistleblowers. And you're right, they're cowards.
So then the public, though, takes what she's saying, this is a person that can be trusted. So what happened? Oh, these mass emails about, follow this, follow that. This is the real. And the thing that got me is that they dance around the issue, but they come back to the big one, cancer. She comes back to the big issue of cancer. And one of the things that she first says is, you don't have to do this and that and that. And wonder, do I have cancer or not? That may or may not be detected by standard methods. But there is this thing that is no fail. And it's really simple and it's easy to do. And I keep wondering, they keep saying about this test and they're not mentioning what it is, and they don't. Unless, of course, you request their package and whatever, which
you need to buy it. I was hoping that you would address this, Dr. Carpenter, because I have no expertise on the cancer issue. But
I know which test it is, by the way, even though they're not saying. We'll talk later. Okay, go ahead.
All right. No, I was going to ask you, do we have a break yet or no?
We're still a few seconds out.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Dr. I'm hoping that after we come back from the break, you will give your analysis of what this woman is promoting.
Oh, absolutely.
Please do.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And the thing that was interesting is that this test was never mentioned by name, but something gave me the hint of what it is.
Listen, just for a minute. I wouldn't be able to sit through it. I would need a barf bag. So.
The medical conspiracy.
Uh-oh.
Dr. Carpenter.
I think barf bag might have made it onto the air. I don't know.
All right.
You can say barf bag on radio, I guess.
Sure you can.
I don't know.
Air sickness bag.
Yeah. Well, do they still have him on
I'm sure
planes?
they do. I haven't flown since, a long time. But,
yeah.
Well, I should say that when I have to just say this, since we're talking about barf bags, that
that's a sound effect I wish I had.
When I saw that nauseating video of Rima Leibau, I am Adam Lanza's doctor. Okay, I thought, I wish I had a barf bag.
Well, if you're at home, you can use a trash can. I mean, that's not... Okay.
Right.
Well, okay.
I have to mention one quick thing, Dr. Carpenter, before you get into the cancer thing about this woman. Okay. Yeah. What it is that on one of these videos that I had seen with Bert Stubblebine, okay, these people are bad actors. Okay, they're just really bad actors, and they're real melodramatic. And in the background, the guy, Bert Stubblebine, he was on a podium with a microphone, and he was like addressing the audience, like pointing his finger right in your face. And they had this hypnotic music, and I know what that is. It's like a programming type music to hypnotize the person into a state.
New age
so they're
stuff.
to believe, like an alpha, they call it like an alpha state or even a theta state.
But not everybody can be brainwashed.
No, that's true. But I'm just saying this is the methodology.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
It affect me or wouldn't affect you, but I could observe it and say, oh, yeah, there it is.
It does affect some people, yeah.
That's
right.
Just
like in the old days, when they had those drive-through theater, and they were quickly flashing image of popcorn and drink that you didn't even notice it, but it was intended to.
Animated hot
dogs. It's subliminal programming, yes.
Yeah. And now I guess they go beyond subliminal.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby.
Yeah, that's right.
I never understand why people they could not watch a movie without having popcorn and drink. Why?
And not only that, but the popcorn and the other things they sell, the drinks, they cost more than the ticket for the movie.
Well, they do that. They make money with that. Just like now, I don't know if you have one in town, but the cities where they have larger cities where they have the dollar theater that now is no longer $1. It's about like $1.50, $2. But they do it because they sell you the drinks. That's what they make the money on. Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, but anyway, we diverted on that one. It's just...
Okay. I want to hear your analysis, Dr. Carpenter.
Okay,
about this so-called cancer treatment.
Okay, so she said first the testing, okay, and she said there is this great test that was developed by a person, the doctor that was trained at Harvard, and he published all this paper, and then he got a PhD in chemistry. He's a published person. He is stressing to the public that in order to have value and credibility, is not the patent, is the paper that you published. Okay, in this reputable journal. And this person developed this great test, but doctors are not using it. And she said that, it's in the report, that it looks at certain components in the blood. Okay. When she said the blood, and she said it's been around for 20 years and doctors still not use it. That is called the AMAS test, which I have suggested many of the patients took. But the AMAS test is restricted, okay? She claims that can pick the cancer when it's just floating cancer cell. No, cannot. Has to be already coalescent to a tumor, but has to be an early stage. It cannot be to advanced stage. And that is a big thing about that because it is called, AMAS means anti-malignant antibody in the serum. Okay? So that means that the body realizes, your system realizes there is something going on that is not right, and there are too many of these damaged cells. So it try to create an antibody and attack the tumor with it, but it doesn't work really, okay? But it leaves traces in the blood of these antibodies, okay? Those can be detected only for a limited amount of time because the body tries, and when it realizes it's not working, it fails, and then the count goes down. So it's a natural antibody creating a vaccine, but it's natural. It does not work because it is your own body. It are your own cells, your own DNA. It doesn't work. When that happens, then the count drops and you cannot detect it with that test. So yes, it is a good test, but there's a time limit. It is a window of opportunity, let's say, that you can use that. Before or after, you can't. And if you have a reoccurrence, you cannot use the AMAS test. So it's already misleading by saying this is great, wonderful, easy, never fails. No, not true, not true. You have to know how and when to use it. So that's the first.
Dr. Carpenter, that's very interesting that you said that, because I can tell you that these people, this is again Stubblebine, General Stubblebine, and Rima Leibow, his wife, they started when they started this Natural Solutions Foundation. Okay, they've already been exposed by other people years ago who say they were trying to establish themselves as experts on the Codex Alimentarius, but they put out nothing but inaccurate, quoting from this report, inaccurate and misleading material on Codex and other related dietary supplement issues, which it sounds like just what you're saying here. They're putting out partial information and then they're spinning it to make it look how they want it to look. Is that right?
Absolutely. Okay, but they're saying, see, we have the answer, and then to help you find out if you have cancer. And then when you get the test, the results that you do have cancer, what do? There is something you can do. And it's not going for drugs, and it's not going to be as expensive as going for to alternative clinics like in Germany or other places. It's not going to be that. You can do it at home, and it's not that expensive. Yeah.
So what is it that she's saying you can do?
She only say it's a liquid, and that's the only thing you can get. It's a liquid, something that you drink, and it was developed by this guy that had multiple patents and always his report printed by reputable journals. And you know why that? They keep stressing that one. You know why. And I will go over in a minute after I...
Let me just ask you this. Let me ask you this. Are they selling it, or are they getting a portion of the profits? There you have it.
I don't know who's selling it, because you have to click and request a report and request something that shows the report.
And then they're going to make money off people buying the snake oil.
And you have to keep taking it. It's not something that you take and that's it. No, you have to keep taking it. It's the same old story of supplements. But what I want to get to, it's even worse than that, okay? If you keep hearing what she says, oh, this does this because first she says it kills cancer, it kills cancer, it kills cancer. And you can take this and kill the cancer. And this person was said that was going to die. And then it took this, and then he did the testing, and the testing said she had no cancer. Well, if she used... Oh.
Yeah, we're hitting a break.
I'll go.
OrionTalkRadio.com. News and views beyond the mainstream.
Real alternative radio. We are OrionTalkRadio.com.
Listening to The Medical Conspiracy with Dr. Carpenter.
Okay, we are back from the break, and what we were saying before the break was that this Rima label, whatever you pronounce that name, let's call it Rima, what's her name? Okay. She is first stated about what is really the AMAS test. And then she's saying, but this professor with these multiple credentials developed this liquid that you can purchase and drink it at home. And that kills cancer, kills cancer, kills cancer. Then, because of this example, there are this example of these people, and they had lung cancer, which is the most difficult to handle. Gee, really. Guess what? Standard photodynamic therapy, if they use it, has even just standard photodynamic therapy, not the one we developed, but just the standard one has pretty good results, much better than anything else for lung cancer. But they don't use it in the U.S. You only can have a PDT, photodynamic therapy, for lung cancer. You can only have it after you have gone through chemo and radiation, and those have failed. By that time, you're a dead person anyway, so. But, okay, so this liquid kills cancer, especially lung cancer, and other floater cells. It's
the snake oil, Dr. Carpenter.
It is, because
snake oil.
And then she said these people they were doomed, they were going to die. They took this liquid, and then they did the testing. The cancer was gone. Okay, let me tell you something, that if they went back and had the AMAS test after that, the time it elapses for the validity of the AMAS test, so they will get that they don't have any cancer, but that does not mean they don't. Because, as I said, the count of the antibody goes down, and so by standard, they have to say the cancer is gone. It's not gone. It's just that the test cannot detect it anymore because there are no more antibodies.
So it's a false reading, in other words.
It's a false reading because it does not apply. The AMAS test, and I kept saying that to patients for the longest time, the AMAS test is only valid in a certain level, a certain window. It cannot be too early. It will not detect it. When you start detecting the lump that is really early stage, you start detecting your lump. No, with standard testing, just by touch. Okay, if it's something that you can touch, if it's not, you're in trouble. From that point to the most a year, you can use the AMAS test. Beyond that, you cannot. It will not tell you anything. And if you have recurrences or you want to check the effectiveness of the treatment, it will not help you. You have to do something else. Okay? So, that is probably more than likely a lie. But then this woman says something else. It reduces the size of the tumor. Okay, wait a minute. Eliminating the cancer is one thing. Reduces the size of the tumor is a totally different issue. Okay? Reducing it in size. Oh, you keep taking it, will reduce it more. No. Reducing the size means nothing. And then the clincher comes in. Once she got your attention, then it comes on. And she didn't use the word synergetic, but basically what she's saying is synergetic to chemo because it reduces the bad effects of chemo. So what is she doing? She is actually hit you in the end after she got your full attention. Getting chemo is fine because you can use this liquid and that will counter the effects of chemo. And so you're going to be okay. You're going to feel better while you're taking chemo. And obviously you're going to last longer, which means you're going to take more and more of the poison and you help the cancer drug industry. See what's happening? At the bottom line, she is what you're saying she is. She is a government troll.
Still a liar. A liar making profits over other people's misery.
Yes, that's what we have been called. And we actually help the patient. We told them the truth on the testing that are significant or are not. See, it would be great for me if I say, sure, have the AMAS test after, okay? Because then I will tell you you're fine. And no, you can't. Because if a certain amount of time has passed, you cannot use that test. See, I would help myself if I said, yeah, go ahead and have it, because that means nothing. No, I don't do that. It's not. The truth is that AMS test has a limited use, just like a Navarro test. After a treatment, no, it won't work. It won't tell you anything. Just like the PET scan won't tell you anything, just like the MRI won't tell you anything. So, and even the thermoscan might not tell you what you need to know. That depends on how the tumor is positioned. So I've always told the patient the absolute, unadulterated truth.
And that's all that ever works, Dr. Carpenter, for anyone.
Well, yeah, it works for you to get rated by FDA and get hit and left without any revenue, transportation, or anything.
You've done the right thing, and that's all that matters. Don't tell the unadulterated truth.
No, I don't. I don't. But on the other hand, if my patients that are back to the normal life, living well, not having any problem, no, sometimes they are concerned because part of the lump is still there. Big deal. It's going to disappear. It's dead. It's not growing. Have they stood up and defend me? Have they said, okay, there are lies out there about cancer. We are doing great. Why are you hiding it? Why are people not standing up and saying, we have had enough of this. This must come to an end. This must stop. It should stop. We should oppose it. We should say we shouldn't take any of this anymore. Why nobody is standing up and saying, we are not taking this anymore? Why?
We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. Just try.
See, it's even in a song. Why we're not saying that? Why we are not standing up and saying we are sick and tired of hearing there are cure for cancer, and then when it comes down to, oh, that will help reduce the effect of chemo, so it's okay for you to take chemo. Why? It's just unbelievable. And this woman is...
Some of us are...
Yeah, go ahead. What? We can hear
What
you.
I'm saying, some of us are saying it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I hear you fine.
Some of us are saying it.
Yeah.
But you know what? The problem is cowardice, and people are being brainwashed by demons, mind-raping demons.
Which is this woman is, okay? She's giving this...
what she is.
Yeah, she's giving misinformation and baiting people along. They're paying more and more attention. Oh, this liquid can do this. And then at the end, we have no even any idea what the heck that liquid is. And then I have my suspicion of what it is because later she says, and to counter the chemo, you can also, and to help in this, you can also use curcumin. Yeah, well, curcumin controls inflammation. It's turmeric, okay? And then she says, graviola. That's another snake oil advertised on the web.
Yes. Again, we have to repeat, Dr. Carpenter, we have to keep repeating. These people are mind rapers, manipulators, and snake oil salesmen, and they are profiting off the fear and misery of the populace.
The fear spread by doctors.
Yes.
Yeah. They're working with them and see what they're doing. They're pushing the alternative. See, there is alternative. There are all this snake oil out there. Are pushing. You should go for that. Yeah, sure, it's offered to you because it's helpful in taking chemo. It's the big chemo.
Like Brzezinski again, because now
Brzezinski,
the persecuted hero, Brzezinski, who's using chemo.
Yeah. I mean, they pretend to, I guess they did persecute him at the beginning, although he was still using a drug. It was not the ordinary chemo, was a different thing, it was still a drug. And then, of course, he turned, like other people we know, turned out of fear and greed and wanting money. So they turned. Oh, we got a break.
I thought I heard music. And speaking of sideshows, the medical conspiracy with Dr. Brzezinski.
That's it, taking the break.
The sideshow.
Yeah.
Everybody look over here. Brzezinski.
Yes, because he's the hero. And he gets patients to come in for the drugs he developed, the drug extract of urine and the wonder drug. And then, oops, it did not work, so chemo. Okay. Well, anyway, that's the Brzezinski. Okay.
Brzezinski.
So are we going to talk about Alex Jones, who interviewed this pair of demons, Stubblebine and
yeah, but I haven't seen the video yet, so I don't know what they said. Unless you do, we're gonna have to discuss it next time.
I just try to get the word out. I just try to sit here and be a moral person and do the right thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
And interview people that are helping the public. Thing. Yes, and telling them.
Don't be a scumbag.
Well, I think they were talking about vaccinations. This was during the big 2009 scare of the forced vaccine. They're going to force that. I remember that's what they were saying. Well, they're going to force everybody to have a vaccination. I remember that. Nobody came around.
Nobody came around
and forced anybody to have a vaccination. It was fear mongering by all these individuals.
By the way, I had the swine flu because I had two patients, one from Canada where the swine flu was and one from Mexico, and I got it from them. And man, I was so miserably sick that you wouldn't believe. 2 weeks. That's when Chris Cuomo claimed to have tried to get in hold of me, and I was not available. Yeah, I was.
I remember how sick you were. That was.
Oh God, it was.
I never seen you so sick you couldn't get out of bed. That was pretty.
And I still got up because I had the patient coming in, and it was really hard. I had to lay down before they came and after. It was just unbelievable. Okay, anyway. So it was not great, but the vaccine would have been worse. You don't know what kind of garbage.
Yes, and also the propaganda. That's what I'm heading for here, Dr.
Yes, it's the propaganda. And
Jones was promoting the propaganda of Stubblebine and his wife, the psychiatrist, that we're warning people, they're going to come and you're going to be forced. You're going to be forced to take this vaccination. Well, it never happened. I remember all that stuff, hearing about that, and I was there laughing like, what the hell do these people think that they're doing here? Nobody's going to come and force a vaccination on anybody, and they didn't.
Except for one thing, people that are on Social Security and are on Medicare, they have to have the flu vaccine. They bug them that they have to go in. They might lose their Medicare if they don't.
Well, yes, but that at least, that's not armed thugs pounding.
No. But it still shouldn't happen.
They were promoting it. They're going to come like a SWAT team and break your door down and make you take and jab you with the needle. No, that's not going to be happening. And this is the kind of lies.
Alex Jones is specialized.
Alex Jones and his guests, like these two demons, Leibau and Stubblebine. This is the problem with this country. These liars, controlled opposition, all the while raking in millions of dollars on the misery and fear of others.
Yeah, I know. And then they just attack. But see what I am saying? She is saying, this is a natural solution. It's great. It's wonderful. And alleviate the chemo side effects so you can take it with chemo. So what is she saying? We have nothing, no solution, and you still have to take chemo, but we can ease off the effect of chemo.
Well, Dr. Carpenter, think of this. Just the name alone is a psyop. Natural solutions. Natural, right? They're implying that everything is, it's all natural, and it's a solution, and it's neither of those. It's not natural, and it's not a solution. It's
just a placebo.
It's a placebo, a psyop, and they rake in the money selling their snake oil products.
Yeah, and people that even think that this thing is actually working, they have to keep taking it. That's the thing about the natural supplement. They have to be taking it on and on and on. I had a patient that told me, she finally came to me 2 years later. She knew about our treatment, but she didn't come. She went for the alternative because those were her words. She said, because what I say is the total opposite of what the naturopathic doctors say. So she is against. She was reluctant because she didn't think, even though somebody had addressed to us and was saying her cancer was gone and she was fine, she just was reluctant because what I said was against everything else. And she went the alternative. She spent $30,000 in 2 years to get her cancer worse. And then she finally came, and I treated her, and she's fine. So that's why they do it, because they keep selling things that are not helping anything, and they're making the cancer worse.
We got about 5 minutes.
Okay, and the other thing was about the psychiatrist, Rima. I don't know how you pronounce the last name. Leibau, whatever. Leibau, I think, but I don't know. Okay, so she also, in this article, they are talking about the same old garbage that all the alternative was pushing. And apparently, the only information I got about this liquid is that stops the cancer from absorbing sugar. Because now...
Oh, boy.
Yeah, now Otto Warburg also discussed the sugar. I never heard that one, and now they're bringing it up. Now, nobody knows what Otto Warburg said because he's writing are all originally in German, and nobody has translated the full writing. So nobody really knows, and they're attributing all these things to him, like oxygen killed cancer. He could not have been that stupid. That's not what... Malarkey. Yeah, absolutely. And same... And same with the sugar. Now, this liquid blocks the cancer absorption of sugar, so stop the cancer from growing. Malarkey. Yeah, absolutely. And they're all saying the same malarkey, the same old story, and they are pushing it. And as long as you believe, the chemo will still do its job and you can ease off, there is nothing that can stop the side effects of chemo. You know why? Most of the chemo do what is called intercalating. And what it means is introduces something into the DNA structure. You have the double helix, and it looks like a standing wave. Within the standing wave, there are parallel horizontal lines with different components. They introduce a new component into that area. They're altering the DNA. So there is no way that anything can counter that effect. That is a long-term effect, long-term damage to your body is affecting the DNA. Hey, people say, hey, there is no way I want you to mess with my DNA. And that's what they're doing. They're messing with people's DNA.
It's a weapon of mass destruction.
It is. They're messing up the DNA. Look and investigate the word intercalating, and you'll find out. It's scary to look at. I don't get scared easily, but that is scary, messing with somebody's DNA. It's unbelievable. And they're doing that. And then they say, no, well, you can take this supplement. The supplement are only masking the damage. And they're easing, it's just easing your body response. The warning sign that the body gives you, hey, some serious damage is being done to you. Whatever you're doing is bad. Stop it. That's what the side effects are meant to. The immediate side effect, like throwing up, black nails, losing your hair, those are signs to you to stop what you're doing because you're being poisoned, you're being messed up. But the long-term damages, you don't know they're happening. And they are produced by having a damage altering your DNA. And you're allowing that to happen by taking these drugs. Most patients don't even know what they're taking. And they trust the doctor to tell them, oh, this is okay. No, the side effects are only for some people. They don't apply to you. Oh, yeah. And people are believing that, and that's how they die. So what I'm saying is stand up and fight. We're not taking any of this anymore. Let's put an end to it. Let's not believe all this false information presented by government. And why are they doing it? Why are they doing this? To distract the attention about what we were saying, how we could kill cancer in just a few days and resolve the problem. No, that has to be put to an end. No, that is invalid because I did not publish any papers. I did not publish any paper in reputable journal that lie to you every day. And they're presenting garbage. No, those are the valid things. If you are not publishing anything, you're obviously not any contribution and any value to the public. It doesn't matter that you're saving life, saving people from mutilation. It doesn't matter that you're saving people from poisoning, radiation or chemical poisoning. It doesn't matter that people are well, they're going back to a normal life. No, that does not matter. It is that what we say, we, the government, know better, and we are using all these trolls to tell you what we want you to hear. Don't listen to Liz Meeting. That's why we rated Liz Meeting.
Don't listen to the disinformation specialists and the snake oil salesmen and the mind rapers. They are committing genocide, and they are destroying this country and everyone in it that will have anything to do with them.
Not only that, they target... Oh, the end? Okay. Well, we didn't get to the year in review, only indirectly, but we'll try to do that.